Hey, so I thought I'd do a little chat today about meditation. Why meditation? Man, meditation's a hard thing to explain. I've tried a few times already to explain it on here, and I've been meditating every day for about 15 years. With one teacher, then with another teacher, then with my present teacher for, actually it's been longer than 15 years. I've been with my present teacher 15 years, and before that I was with another one for about 2 years. And I started out meditating with guided journeys on audio tape, actually, back when there was audio tape. So it was a while ago. And those guided visualizations, guided journeys, were with the chakras and guided visualization, and it was really wonderful. It often began with a guided relaxation, and then I'd visualize the chakras in a certain way, or visualize myself in a bubble of light, or in a beautiful place, or and it was ways of beginning to relax, beginning to calm down, because that's really what meditation is in a real way. Is it's really the practice of calming down. So some people say that it's better to do it more frequently for shorter sessions than to do it longer for one session. Because you're practicing calming yourself down, and over time that changes you. Also, the more you practice it, the better you get at calming down. The better you get at um, it becomes a practiced ability, or a practiced state. Your ability to calm yourself down and to move into your own body, into your own energetic flow, into a state of absorption, where you're absorbed in the breath, in your full body, and you're absorbed in your senses, in your feeling sense especially. So that's why meditations often follows yoga. Often people do yoga, and they find that they have a great meditation at the end of it. And that's because they've just had a practice that got them into their body, got them into feeling their body, got them into breathing. When you have to exert your muscles, like you do in yoga, or pay attention to your balance, your posture, to keep from falling over, let's say, then that makes you present. It makes you breathe more. And whatever makes you breathe more is probably getting you feeling more, and getting you working, getting you associated to your body, in your body. And that is going to be more of a state of meditation. So I like to say, to people, when people don't often ask me about meditation, to be honest. They often tell me that, I'll often ask people, do you meditate? Are you into stuff like that? And they'll say, most people say yes. And then they say, a lot of them say, but I never do it. I know I should. In which case, I usually say the same thing. And I say, well, it's very hard. Meditation is very hard. And I'm really lucky because I meditate with tools. I have special meditation tools that really bring out that state of relaxation and flow that is meditation. So they kind of help a lot for me to relax and meditate. And I'll share more about those tools in a minute. But first, I just want to share this truth that meditation can be pretty hard. It's because it's really foreign to what the world is doing. The world is not meditating at all. Like, it's really a kind of an opposite energy in the world. It's really an energy of materialism and constantly pursuing the next thing and multitasking. And meditation is monotasking, and it is not pursuing anything. It's letting all that go, moving into the present, into a feeling experience of letting go, of relaxing, just coming back to the breath over and over, back to the body over and over, back to feeling your inner body over and over. So I got a lot of help for myself to meditate and to learn what that means and what that path is about from the spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. So he's one person I'd recommend to anybody to learn from. There are others as well. There's Gangaji and Adyashanti. I don't know what they're like exactly, but I personally found Eckhart Tolle's teachings and videos and such very helpful and very powerful. Sometimes people say that they think he's not a real teacher, and I'm like, if you think that, you just haven't experienced yet the energy that can come from him, the transmission that comes from him. It's real, it's powerful, and if you haven't experienced it, then we experience what we're ready for. So don't force yourself. I would say, don't force yourself to meditate. Trust your intuition, trust your body, trust your gut to lead you, your heart, your soul to lead you to what's best for you. Your natural meditation might be a run, it might be a walk, it might be a hike, it might be, we all have different. It might be lovemaking. we all have different temperaments, and I have a temperament that's very naturally meditative. Plus, like I said, I have tools. So this is one of them right here. This is one of the meditation tools that I use. It's computer just faded out. It's a crystal. It's got 4 crystal points, a crystal plate on the back, and it is pretty big, as you can see. And it's got a topaz in the center, and it's a very energized, it's sterling silver otherwise, and it's a very energized, powerful, sacred piece of jewelry, like a talisman, that radiates a kind of blessing energy that's uplifting and creates that stronger ability to be in my heart, and not in my lower centers as much, but to be centered more in my heart and my higher centers, which allows you to not fall into like negative emotions, but be above that, be in your heart, be in a clear, open space where your emotions are more flowing and not being held in the grip of your solar plexus and have a negative feeling like anxiety or whatever. So this is one of the tools. There's others that I use. These are the Shambhala healing tools. I actually have 2 on right now, so I'll show you the other one. This one is called an etheric. Yeah, it's pretty big, as you can see. This is an etheric weaver, and it's a 3.5-inch long quartz crystal that's been dyed aqua in color. So it's a light blue quartz crystal with magnets on the sides of it. Altogether, it's wrapped in copper wrap and has a pyramid cut on the ends, a 51-degree pyramid cut. This is very sacred, very specific design. This transmits the blessings of my teacher, who we call Buddha Maitreya, and Buddha Maitreya is the world leader of Tibetan Buddhism. He's enlightened. He's got many titles. It's a teaching in itself, just learning who he is and what his role is. But what I'll leave you with is just that some people aren't always drawn to a teacher right away, but they may be very drawn to the tools, and the tools really help us meditate. So I recommend to anyone you can get a smaller one than this for just under $100, I think, and you can get a head pyramid as well. I know it sounds trippy, but it works. And those 2 things come with a CD. The CD has the prayers, the invocations, the crystal bowl music on it, and First Nations drumming, all as one experience that brings out a very transcendental state where you're more receptive to visions and inspiration and intuition, and you're really able to really relax and calm down quite quickly and profoundly. And more than that, the invocations are really invoking the soul. They're really invoking the light of your Buddha nature, your Holy Spirit, which is your Buddha nature, to awaken within you and radiate out of you, which heals your physical body, vitalizes your physical body, heals your emotional body, and heals your mental body. Because you've got these vehicles, these are your energetic bodies, and they need to be healed. We're really coming out of pasts that were so harsh. Not just this life, if you believe that, but also in this life. So, like myself, I learned that I was sexually abused in my childhood, and I learned that in the end of a 7-day meditation retreat. So sometimes we don't even know what's in our past, but as we heal it all. And this is a profound meditation healing system of healing that really is one of the most powerful that I know of. And this is really energetic medicine. So that brings me to another point, and that is, if you're going to meditate, it's one thing to just meditate. It's another thing to eat well. It's another thing to do yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. It's something like that. It's another thing to take flower essences or work with energetic medicines, which are many, like acupuncture is another one. Acupuncture. So, if you have a hard time meditating, it may be that you need to heal something. It may be that you're in a lot of anxiety or just not very happy in your life in some way, and you might benefit by working with somebody, a counselor or a health coach or someone to help you work with that anxiety and, face off with any addictions or get your needs met in your life in whatever way, more money or whatever it is you need that will allow you to actually sit and when you meditate, not have your mind be racing and thinking about all the things you need to accomplish or how unsatisfied you are in your life or whatever. So it's like as we take care of these things in the gross world of our physical life, we become more able to meditate. We become more naturally peaceful inside and calm, satisfied, able to actually meditate and have a meditation. So another thing is your environment, like your home. If your home is too dark, you may need more light, and that may help you to be calmer, to feel better, to be more naturally meditative. If you are in a home that's too dark or too bright, you may need to, warm up the space some more, or make it more cozy or calm or something. I usually put a kind of warm orange fabric over my lamps in the evenings, sometimes, to kind of calm me down, slow things down. Sometimes I'll put green or dark blue. So, you know, um, so meditation is all these things are connected to it. It's really about whatever helps bring out a state of calm and relaxation in your body and in you. So as you listen to yourself and respond to yourself, you are really practicing meditation in a very real way. Beyond that, I can recommend to you energy medicines, like the ones I mentioned, are one of the fastest ways of healing and balancing ourselves. Um, I'll leave a link in this blog about the Shambhala healing tools. I'll leave a link to Eckhart Tolle. And I guess there's also apps you can try like Headspace. Really, we all are very different, and for some of us, we might be just starting to meditate. For others of us, we might be meditating, have meditated for a long, long time in other lives. So it really depends. It really depends on you, what you're led to, that makes what's going to be right for you to do. But know that as you do meditate, you know, you're not just going to sit there and have no thought. That's unrealistic. And even for me, I have 15 years and I still have lots of thought. I'm pretty good now at calming myself down pretty quickly and going sometimes very deep into a state of deep calm, especially after like 30 minutes or 45 minutes of meditation. But some days are harder than others. There are days when my mind is going and going, and it is work to meditate. Other days it's easy and it's a joy. So it really varies, but don't expect no thought. It's more like your mind gets quieter and quieter and quieter and smaller, and you have more space around it. You have more of a sense of the bigger picture of your life and more of a sense of what you should be doing. Or, it's just like we don't tend to look at our life through calm. We also don't tend to look at our life through a state of tall posture, which very much brings clarity to your mind. We tend to think like this, hunched over, and we're in a very fast mind, thinking and talking a lot, and worry, anxiety, all that gets messed up in it. So, but when you cultivate calm and tranquility, and you do so with a tall posture, and especially breathing into your lower abdomen, deep and long and slow in your lower abdomen, beginning to breathe that way more and more, what happens is you'll find that decisions that you've been working on, that you were trying to think through and trying to come to a point of decision in your mind, when you're sitting there in meditation, the decision just gets worked out. Some of your decisions will just get made, and you'll be like, wow, that decision just happened. I didn't even have to work at it, and that's because the state of observation is a state of greater flow in your thoughts. It's a state of greater creativity, a state of greater inspiration, and it's a state of where you're not sort of pedaling the bike of your mind so much, but you're just enjoying the view. You're just relaxed, you're taking it all in, and the bike of your mind is coasting, and then it's sort of like you're on the bike, but you're also just watching it go by, and it begins to have more flow and coherence in your thoughts and more clarity, and it just does what it naturally does, which is what all life naturally does, which is it evolves. All life naturally evolves and grows and matures and unfolds, just like the flowers and everything. Everything has cycles and seasons, and the birds know when to fly south. And similarly with us, we have intuition, and we have a natural quality in our mind that moves towards the next step and the next decision. And ultimately, we become a person who can live in a state, more or less, of meditation throughout all your days. You actually learn to meditate 24/7, which means you're not controlling things as much. You're in a state of observation, very deeply centered and in your body, but in a state of observing yourself, observing the world, observing your relationships, observing your thoughts, and you're not really attaching too much to anything or trying to make anything happen too much. You do have intentions and purpose and ability to work hard and do what's hard and put effort into things, but you don't control, you don't insist. You're learning to be more of a meditative kind of person who maintains a state of observation, a trained observer, and things begin to happen more and more automatically and even synchronistically as you allow them to do so. So that's my chat on meditation. That's probably more than you wanted to know. Um, really, I don't just recommend meditation to anybody. If someone asks me about meditation, I will say these tools are awesome. I'll say check out the Om meditations, which I teach. I can teach you how to do the Om meditation. Also, there's Om meditations 3 nights a week online, led by my teacher, Buddha Maitreya. He speaks English. He's born in Oregon, recognized by the Tibetans at a very young age as their head teacher. He's really cool, really awesome. Lived in California for a long time, now lives in Maui. So, I recommend checking out his work, but many people aren't drawn to his work because his work is very powerful, very deep, and I wasn't drawn to his work at first. I was drawn to Eckhart Tolle. I was drawn to other teachings. I do recommend not going for the channeled teachings that are out there because they get kind of ungrounded or ungrounding or something. They're just not as good quality as teachings that come from a real being that's got a body. There are masters on earth. There are people who are awakened beings. They're really normal people, and you really want to be learning from someone who's a really normal person and who faces the everyday challenges that we all have in our everyday life, and who expresses great consciousness and precision and love and how they handle things. So I see that in Eckhart Tolle, and I see that in many other real teachers on earth. So my teacher as well. And as you hang around with and connect with people like that, who are just wise beings, old souls, you grow in your own wisdom, you grow in your own discernment, your own ability to see deeper into things and know what should be done, instead of just what your personality wants to satisfy your personal desires, and so on. You grow, we transition from doing what's best for me to doing what's best for everyone. And sometimes it's the same thing, sometimes it's very surprising that what's best for you isn't at all what you thought was best for you. And that can come in meditation too. In meditation, you can have a lot of, meditation can bring some pretty shocking insights that come because as you meditate, as you become calmer, you become more sensitive to your own intuition. And the way it's leading you. And it may be very different from the plan that you had, the plans and the desires that you made. Your intuition, you may feel clearly that there's a certain path that feels right and is pulling you in that direction. And you will learn that when you follow your intuition, things go much better. Sometimes better than you could have planned. Often, I think, better than you could have planned. And when you meditate, also, you grow insight. You have more and more flashes of insight, and more flashes of seeing things as they really are, seeing people as they really are. And it can be shocking because you're not seeing them as you fear that they are, or as you want them to be, or as you project they might be. You're not seeing your projections or desires as much anymore, or other people's opinions about that person. But you're actually seeing that person as they actually are, and it can be surprising to see how beautiful they are, or how they really don't really care about you as much as you think they did, or whatever. So because when you calm, you're calming your emotions, and you're calming your mind. So with that, you're calming down all the fear, you're calming down all the worry, all the desire, all that kind of relaxes and settles, and you begin to see the world through stillness, more and more through stillness. And in that clarity, there can be a lot of revelation. So 18 minutes, that's quite a bit. The main thing about meditation is just get started. I like to have a spot where I always sit and meditate. Sometimes now it's in my bed. It's often in my bed. If you have enough space, it's nice to have a space that's dedicated. Make it comfortable. It's not about torturing your body. It's about being more in touch with your body and feeling good. Meditation should feel good. It should be a time of resting in consciousness. You're not falling asleep, but you're resting in consciousness. And if you are falling asleep a lot, then maybe you need to get more sleep. Or cut back on the sugar or the caffeine or whatever, and learn to even out your energy levels. So, once again, when people ask me about meditation, I tell them about, I say to them, also check out yoga, energy medicines, nutrition, feng shui. It's not just about meditation. Meditation is important, but as you get everything else working, you'll find yourself naturally becoming meditative. So, I even think sometimes that meditation is it's not just sitting. We tend to think, oh, I'm meditating, I'm sitting in lotus position with my fingers touching together, but actually meditation is something that happens in your breathing and in your mind and in your emotional flow. It's not a certain kind of posture or a certain way of looking or a certain kind of mantra. You can be meditating in the grocery store lineup. Really. A lot of my first meditations actually were on the bus because I would ride the bus a lot and I would just be sitting there and I'd fall asleep sometimes, and then sometimes I'd just close my eyes and I wouldn't fall asleep, but I started to have meditations that, I realized that it became a natural meditation for me. There's nothing else to do. I can't read on the bus because I get carsick. So, if you're a transit taker, then as well, that's an opportunity for you to get a meditation app or get some nice music that you like that creates calm and happiness and doesn't have a lot of vocals because that makes the mind think. So, there's a whole lot of ideas for you. I can tell you that as you meditate, especially if you have a good teacher and once you get a practice going that really works for you, it is amazing. You will have, the spiritual journey, it's totally real. Intuition, insight, Jedi quality awareness, it absolutely happens. It absolutely unfolds. It's worth it. Every step of meditation is totally worth it. I'm now totally hooked. And you may have a spiritual experience at the beginning or you may not, but if you do at any point have kind of an amazing experience, doesn't mean that's going to happen every time. It just means that life gave you a free one so you can see what's possible, and then you got to get to work, and it's worth it because the gains that you make. If you believe in lifetimes as I do, then you would probably believe that the gains that you make, the growth that you achieve in this life will be there for you in your next life. You will start, the way you leave this life is the way you start out in the next life. So it's really, if you take that long view, it's different because you see that you're really working the long game. It's really not about how much you can accumulate because none of that goes with you. It's really about how much can you express of all the consciousness and light and love that's inside you, because that's what meditation is. It's soul integration. So that's enough. 22 minutes. Hope you enjoyed my chat about meditation. I'd love to hear some comments and leave some links below. Thanks so much.